Hi guys, this is Jesse from Nova Quark.
And I'm NQ Entropy, game designer at Nova Quark.
Welcome to this live gameplay session where we will showcase the newly released alpha gameplay of Dual Universe, and in particular the first player experience as you join the game. Just a few words to start with if you've never heard of Dual Universe before. This is a quite ambitious sci-fi MMO with two key innovations. The first is that it's what we call a single shard, meaning that everybody is going to be playing in the same world at the same time. There's only one instance, one reality if you want, that everybody can share. Potentially millions of players playing in the same world. And the second cool thing is that everything in this world is entirely editable.
Yeah, and that actually includes the building we are in right now. This area was completely built using in-game tools available to our players. Furthermore, even the planet we are on right now is entirely editable. And we'll take a more in-depth look at that in a little bit.
Yes, indeed. So just to demonstrate, I'm going to go into build mode here. So I'm going to, well, basically destroy this place. So you can see that it's editable as I actually take chunks of it out of it. Right, so all this is not made of prefabs, except the different elements that you see here, like the table or the chair. I could actually take them out. And these things are the building blocks that you will assemble to create anything you want, from a building, a spaceship, orbital station, anything. All right, so now let's move out of here towards the district area where the game actually begins. Take the build mode out. Here we go. So this is where you start, but before that I just want to spend a few seconds to show you the planet that we are actually on. It's called Alioth.
Right, and Alioth is actually our largest and most ambitious planet so far, and it's grown more than 4 times since pre-alpha about a year ago. Everything you see here is real, and we want you to go out into the world and explore and make it your own. So one of the first things we do is actually give you a basic hovercraft and sort of give you that ability to go out and meet your friends and, you know, see what you can find out there.
Yeah, we're gonna have a look at the hovercraft in a second, and actually that's where the game starts. In the district where you are here, you will be given a hovercraft, not exactly a hovercraft like pre-made, but actually it will be a blueprint that you can actually use to build one. Okay, so let's actually go and get this blueprint. So to interact with the dispenser, just click F and you will get the blueprint. And we also get some fuel here, the core unit, and all the different parts that are needed to build this hovercraft. Okay, so we can actually have a look in the inventory. The things I just picked, they are here. You can see them here. Also the things I collected before while I was editing the district, and so we're good to go.
Yeah, the cool thing about these dispensers that we just used is that these are actually in-game elements, and players are free to craft or buy these dispensers in order to use them for them and their friends. We're using them here quickly to get you out and about, but ultimately a more reliable way of getting the elements you need will be to either craft them or simply buy them from the market.
Talking about the markets, we're actually just here in front of the market pods that are the way by which you interact with the market. So if you interact here, you'll see that these are real markets. You have sell orders, buy orders. In that case, there is no buy order, but you could have both, and there will be typically dynamic equilibrium of the price evolving over time as people are competing to try to sell or buy stuff. So since I'm on the market, what we're going to do now is that we're going to buy another set of gears that are going to be necessary for us to build a second hovercraft.
So we're going to need a couple of things here, and I guess the first thing we should get is a core unit, right?
Alright, so let's use the search function here. Actually, let's look for dynamic core, and we
probably want the excess here.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The excess will be better. Yeah. We don't need anything too big, and we're going to use the instant buy. I mean, we could put a buy order and wait for someone to actually fulfill that order. We could probably get a better price, but let's just do instant buy. It's going to be quicker, and that's what most people are going to do anyway. So we're going to just get one of those guys. What else do we need?
We're going to need some hovercraft gear. So I think if you just look for hover, you'll probably find everything you need.
Yes.
There we go. So I think 1 seat should be enough.
Alright.
You can just instant buy from the menu, which is quite nice. Then
Right.
probably need a hover engine. Maybe S I think is enough. We're building something small, right?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. And actually, how many?
Probably
two
two.
of them.
Yeah.
At least 2, I think. Yes. What else do we need?
We're going to need a little bit of propulsion, so probably an engine.
An engine, atmospheric engine.
Yeah.
Atmospheric engine.
There
And
we
here we are going to go for the extra
Yeah, the
small
XS
one.
should be more than enough. We don't need anything too powerful.
Just one of them. And confirm.
Well, we're gonna need a fuel tank for that engine.
Right, so fuel.
There's a lot of them here, but if you scroll down, you should be. There's the XS.
The extra small
Yeah,
is,
there we
is
go.
totally enough. So let's get this guy.
And then I think all we need is adjusters and probably a brake, and then we should.
Also,
be
we
good
need
to go.
some fuel.
Oh, yeah,
in-
sure.
To put in the tank. So
Absolutely.
typically that would be nitron because we are flying in atmosphere and we're dealing with atmospheric engines. How much? Two?
I think 2. Yeah, it's
two?
gonna be totally
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
It's 2 cubic meter.
Yeah.
So that's a lot, in fact. What else do we
We need some adjusters for rotation.
Yes, that's right. So the adjusters are.
Probably some S here should be fine at the top.
XS is probably better. It's
Probably-
a small ship, so we just need that kind of thing. So let's let's look at the market for XS. You see, there are many possibilities here, and let's pick let's say this one, for example. So we can just buy how many of them? do
Probably
we buy?
8 or something.
All right, 8. That's fine. And here we go. So we have 8 XS. Anything else?
Brake maybe. Make
That
sure we can slow down.
would be a good idea.
There we go.
So
Definitely the S here because the other ones are.
okay, atmospheric air brake.
Yeah.
Yes, this one. All right. We need like 2 of them.
Yeah, 1 or 2 is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Good. What else do we need?
I think that's actually everything we
that's
need. Yeah.
pretty much
You
everything.
could actually buy some voxel material if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think
build
we need
around it.
some
Yeah.
material so we can actually build a structure. Indeed.
Maybe some aluminum or something.
All right.
There we go. You got a.
Oh,
Got a
aluminum.
lot of options down there.
Which
one-
way would you recommend? Which?
You know what? Whatever you want. Matte, dark gray. How about that one?
Okay, this
Yeah.
one. Good. Volume.
Probably about 10, 5 or
Okay,
10. Yeah.
just like this.
Yeah.
10. It's a bit expensive. But
It's
anyway,
quite pricey.
let's
Aluminum is
go.
resistant.
We're getting close to the end of the initial amount.
We want to be careful.
All right,
Not
so
overspend.
shopping is done.
Yeah, I think we're good.
We're good. All right, so we can actually leave this place and start to actually reach the launch pad area. So let's go together. I'm gonna run there. You see all those beautiful moons over there? They are actual moons, so you can, just to clarify, I mean, you can fly to those moons and establish your base over there if you really want to. So that's entirely possible. So what I suggest is that we start by building ourselves a first version of a hovercraft, and then we're going to make a copy for you and Q Entropy
All right.
by using the blueprint.
Nice,
So
thank you.
for the sake of demo, let's actually build something together.
Wait, I actually think we forgot to take the gear out of the market container.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's a typical mistake. I
Yeah.
mean, when you buy things in the market, they don't necessarily go directly into your inventory because you could very well buy from a remote market. So things you have to actually pick them from the market container, which is here, and you can see all the stuff I actually bought just a second ago are here waiting for me. I can actually resell them or do whatever I want. So this is an extra step you need to take to actually collect everything you just bought. So it's just so right now we don't have grouped ways of doing this quickly, but this is going to come later.
Yeah,
So
we'll have
it's-
some sort of grab all function. That you
yeah,
can just,
that's a little
click.
bit tedious for now, but that works. So okay, I just collected everything that was mine in the market container. Just to clarify, also this container will be limited in the future. Right now it's limited, and there might be some things like fees, so that you cannot just use that as a free storage. But this is not the case right now in the game. It's not yet implemented.
Alright.
All right, so let's get back to the building of the first hovercraft.
Back to the little parking here.
Yeah.
Right.
Here we go. So let's start. The first thing you want to do is actually get a core unit. So one of the 2 core units we actually have here. I'm going to pick one. I just double click and it is equipping the core unit, and I'm going to deploy here, for example, at that place. By pressing T and using the mouse wheel, I can actually elevate it a little bit. Let's do this here, and here it is. It's deployed. The nice thing is that now I can use my jetpack to actually fly around. That facilitates the building. And here we go. We have this volume here that defines the place where you'll be able to build. and this is what we're going to do right now. First thing we need to add is some voxels. So I'm going to pick, from the inventory the aluminum that we just bought, and we're going to deploy it. So we just define the initial surface, we drag it, and that will create a volume. So there are many more ways. I can show you some different brushes, 3D brushes. So the different ways that you can actually combine materials and basically sculpt matter the way you want. So this is just perhaps the simple thing you can think of doing, just dragging a box, but you can do way more than that. But for the sake of this short demo, we're just going to go on and keep building. Okay, what's the next step?
Well, I guess we could start by putting the hovercraft seat, sort of going to be the centerpiece of our little hovercraft here.
Right, so we're going to pick it from the inventory, and here we are. So you can put it in any way you want. You can rotate it and just do what you want with it. We're just going to basically put it in the middle here, and we're going to add all the different components basically that are needed. So hover engine as well, so we can just rotate it. Oh, you have to pay attention to the orientation of the arrows. They are going to show where the engine is going to push. Okay, we're going to put one here, one here.
Be careful not to use all of them.
Yeah, so let's just put this out, and
I think 2 is going to be enough anyway.
2 more or less centered would be just fine. So we have to keep some of them for the second hovercraft. So we just have 4 of them. We are going to add.
We need one engine.
The
probably,
engine.
and then
So
the fuel tank.
let's put it like here, or let's put it behind it.
Actually, you could put the engine on one side and the fuel tank on the other. That could be pretty cool.
Okay, let's do this. All right. So, oops. Orientation issues, a bit of collision problem. Here we go.
There we go.
So here, and as you said, yes, the fuel tank is
Right there. Yeah.
just right here. We're gonna put it here.
Very aesthetically pleasing.
I am a master of building. No, I mean this is horrible, but anyway, it's just to illustrate the concept.
It works.
By the way, this engine you see on the left is like blinking. Also, those 2 engines here are blinking, means that they are not connected to the fuel tank. Don't worry about that. As soon as you will step inside the ship, it will automatically connect them. Now, it doesn't do it by default because you might want to wire them in a particular way. Suppose if you have different fuel tanks. So that's the reason why it's not done immediately. All right. What else do we have to add?
Probably a couple of adjusters.
Yes, that's very important. We need this to be able to turn. So you need to put them in different positions. They're basically like pushing a little bit, and that makes you turn. So you can put them here. That will give the hovercraft the possibility to turn. So to
just to rotate on itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one here and another one here will help it to roll, and to pitch we just add one here and one here. Should just do the job properly. What is missing?
I think you might want to add your brakes.
Yes,
Make
so
sure you
that's
can
the
slow down.
atmospheric brakes.
Yep.
They're basically like wings, so we can put them pretty much everywhere, anywhere we want. So let's say, because I have so much taste, I'm going to put it just more or less randomly.
Yeah, a master of design.
Absolutely. Okay, so here we are, and I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think so.
You could add some wings or steel column. I mean, all sorts of things to for aesthetical reasons. You could add a headlight, but we have only one, and it's going to be needed in the blueprint of the second hovercraft. So I'm going to stop here, and here we go. So we have functional, if not very nice, hovercraft. The last thing we need to do is to fuel it. So I'm going to pick the fuel we just got here, nitron, and I'm going to add a little bit of it. Maybe not too much, because that is adding to the weight, so I just don't want this to be too heavy. So I think this is pretty much everything we need.
Do you want to give it a ride?
Okay, let's go and take it for a ride. All right, so just pressing F on the hover engine will actually power it, and here we go. We have a flying functional hovercraft. So I can go into third-person view by pressing Insert. Let's start the engine. You see that it's moving the hovercraft forward. If I press Control, it's going to brake. That's very useful to help to maneuver and control into tight areas. But otherwise, yeah, it's working fine.
Yeah,
let's
fairly
push.
functional.
Let's push the engines a little bit more.
Whoa!
Oh la 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 la!
Careful,
That's
careful. Ooh, nice drift.
good.
Very
Good.
nice
Good.
drift.
Let's brake. That's typically where you want to brake. Okay, so where are you? So I'm gonna go join you
Coming
again.
to you. Don't run me over.
All right. So I'm
There
gonna
I
get nearby, going back into first-person view, and oof. All right.
How about we show them what a nice-looking hovercraft looks like?
All right, you're right. So let me just step out of here, and we're gonna use the blueprints that we have in the inventory that we collected from the dispensers, so that we can build a second hovercraft. That will be a little bit more stylish.
Yeah.
The first thing is that I'm gonna get the blueprint that we actually got from the dispenser that is in my inventory. I'm going to double click on it, and so that actually shows you now a box that is the place where the construct will be generated. I'm gonna just click on it, and that is creating the hovercraft, which is looking way better than
That is a
than the
much
other one.
nicer looking
Yeah,
speeder.
definitely. So just a word about this particular gameplay. This is not the way it's going to be in the final game. We have in mind to have things like factories where you have to plug containers, so you know the components needed are taken from the containers. So there's a whole gameplay about the industry that has been simplified in this first iteration. So the thing just pops out of thin air, taking the materials out of your inventory. Anyway, so that's pretty good. Another thing now is that if you want to step into this hovercraft,
I cannot.
you cannot, because it's mine,
Yeah.
and I did not give you any
Your
any-
property.
Exactly. So I could individually, give you access to every single element, but I'm going to talk to the core unit, which is just in front of me, and I'm going to change the permission so that you're going to be allowed to get access to it.
That's very nice.
Here we go. So I could type all here. That would actually give access to anyone. So here I'm actually changing the rights to the core unit that will affect every element of this construct. That could be, more fine grain and, change the right of a given button, of a given door, things like that. And this is a very simplified version also of what we call the RDMS, the Right and Duty Management System, that is meant to, give the possibility of players to fine-tune the control of everything in the game. Alright, last thing is I need to fuel this, so let me just put a little bit of nitron, not too much, that should be good, and
Should be totally fine.
yeah, we're good to go. So let's actually step inside this. Okay, so
So I guess I'll just step in now.
yeah,
Alright.
I'm gonna watch.
There we go. We power up here. Alright.
Good,
There we go.
fantastic, looking
Very,
good.
Very nice little engine here.
Indeed. So let's go and actually explore a little bit to find something
Yeah.
to mine.
Go this
So
way.
go ahead, I'm going to follow myself getting inside.
I'll wait. I won't go too fast.
There you go, you're over there. So myself also powering up, and I'm going to try to go after you.
Alright. Go up this little hill here. There we go. Pretty cool little
Oof.
area we have here. Oh, you okay there?
Yeah, that's nice. I need to brake a little bit so I'm not drifting too much. Yeah, you're going fast.
I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. There we go.
Good. All right, go ahead. I follow.
Alright. We could actually be going way faster here, but we don't want to crash or have anything bad happen to us here, so
Yeah.
we're just taking it a little bit easy.
Good. Right. All right. So I think this is a good spot.
Yeah, I'm sure we
Why
can-
not? We're gonna see what we can find here. So I'm going to slow down, brake, and step out of.
So what are we going to do here? We're going to take a look at the mining?
Yes, let's actually have a look at how mining is working. Suppose that you know what you're looking for, that you know that certain materials will be around here. So how do you proceed with locating the ore?
So the first thing that you're going to want to do is activate your 3 tool, which is going to be your long range scanner.
Yes. And so as I walk, you see that it's scanning around me with a range of 400 meters. And you can see in the visual feedback that there are actually 4 little points here that have been identified that corresponds to potential ores. We don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah. So the idea is that the color, what you're seeing on the graph, is actually based on the density of the material. So we sort of give you partial info, so you're not exactly sure what it is, but you can get an idea if you're either experienced or if you know that you're looking for something specific.
Yeah. So the idea is that it's like a hot and cold game. You're trying to get closer to what you're looking for. So let's actually go for this greenish one that is now below 200 meters. I don't know if I can get closer. Actually, if it's on the ground, which is clearly the case, you will not be able to get any closer than the depth at which it is.
I think the general idea is that you want to stay above ground for as long as you can, because it's going to be faster to move above ground, but there's going to be a point where you have to dig underground to go find the actual ore.
And I think that's pretty much it. We're probably
right
above it, like 130 meters above it. So let's actually enhance the size of the digging tool, and we're going to start to dig. Okay. So, go. Let me switch on my light. And so, let me try to go down there. You can see, I'm getting closer.
Yeah, it looks like you're going in the right direction.
Good. Get closer. By the way, I can change the range here of the radial scanner, so I made it to 200 meters, so I get a more precise feedback.
We're just about 100 meters. So we're still going
Still going good. At some point, I would probably have to realign because there's no reason why I would be lucky enough to be going exactly in the right direction. But that's the general.
It looks like you're starting to level out here.
Yes. So let's try in the other direction. It's probably still
It's a nice trick if you want to use the cardinal points in the map. So if you want to use east, west, south, north, you can use those directions sort of to make sure you know where you're going. And
it can get confusing on the ground because you don't have any landscape visual feedback. I'm getting below 50, so that's a good news. So I could continue like that, but now that I am actually going below 50. This is the range at which I can actually start to use my directional scanner, which is number 4 in that case.
Exactly.
And I can actually scan around me to try to get a signal in the direction that I'm pointing at. And that will actually tell me more precisely where I should actually continue to dig.
Yeah, so the idea behind the directional scanner is it's more of a short range scanner, and you're going to be looking around and you're going to be seeing. I think it should be around here somewhere.
Yeah, I think I'm going to continue to dig a little bit.
Yeah, we can try to get a little bit closer.
Okay, so let's just realign. What was the direction? Let's try this one. It doesn't hurt to get a bit closer.
It might be right at the edge of the range, and maybe it just doesn't quite see it. Go with it.
Okay, definitely getting way closer now. So let's try again and see if we can get the signal. Here and we get something.
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
Okay. So here again, I mean, it's just like the radial scanner. We don't know exactly what it is. We have a signal whose color is going to be depending on the type of material.
Yeah, the density.
Yes, but not exactly what it is.
And the important thing is that the colors between the detector and the radial scanner are unified. So it's the same colors based on the same density. And looks like we found something.
Here we go. This is it. So if I try to continue digging around that, I will just dig the dirt basically, so I can sort of clear out
the entrance area.
So you can see better what it is. But now that I found it, the proper way to go with this is to actually mine it, and for that I will need the first tool, the number 1.
Yeah.
So here we go. We can mine this and see what comes out of it. It's
iron. It's iron. Perfect.
It's iron. Cool. So you see that there's a change of color in the circle that gives me feedback. This is actually showing when my mining tool is becoming sort of warmed up.
Yeah. So there's a warm-up time to your mining tool, just for balancing purposes. And so when the mining tool goes from this sort of like purple color that you see at the beginning to this yellow color, then that means that you can release it. And the idea is that you have a sphere that grows, and you need to try to optimize your placement and optimize your mining, and get as much material as you can every time you place a new sphere.
Pretty good. So I'm not going to mine everything.
No, it would probably take a while.
This could be actually a huge vein. We have in mind to have veins that could be kilometers long, so like huge amount of minerals that you can try to get. So I'm gonna go away from here, and we're gonna go back to the surface, which might be a little bit tricky.
You could just dig your way up.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go the way
Looks like you're going in the
came
right
from,
direction.
but if it's too difficult, I think it's
This is
fine.
probably the way out.
Yeah, very good.
I'll just be waiting up here on the surface for you.
One important thing is that if you start a mine with a very large amount of ore, you will typically be, at some point, you will be limited by your inventory. So the way to go is that you can use a feature that is called the linked or primary container, which allows you to actually extend your inventory by connecting it to a nearby container. So that can be a container that is fixed on the surface, if it's not too far away from you, or it can even be mounted on a vehicle that you can then control to follow you. So that's part of the job of a serious miner, is to manage the problem of hauling things back to the surface, and then later on back to a market and managing all the logistics that is associated to that. The market is over there, by the way. Okay, so what we just did is that we mined a bit at random to see what's there, but the other process of mining could be that you're looking for something particular, a particular ore that you need, and in that case it will be extremely tedious, especially for the rarer ores, to actually go like that randomly and trying to find things. It could take you a lot of time. So there's another level of scanning that is available in the game that is called territory scanning. So just as a reminder, if I open the map with F4, you can see that where I am here, we are surrounded by tiles that correspond to territory tiles that you can actually claim, and that you can also use to define proper small areas, like for example the proper small area used for scanning a territory. So in that case, what you want to do is actually deploy a territory scanner. So this is a pretty big element, and I think that you and Q Entropy have one in your inventory. I don't have anything, but maybe you could actually start to build a small mining outpost where we're going to deploy this territory scanner.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to start by deploying a little core here, just so I can put down all my stuff. And I'm going to build a very simple plaque here. Should be appearing
I'm going to watch.
in front of you for a second. There we go.
Okay.
And I'm going to be selecting my territory scanner in my inventory and putting it down
wow.
right here. It's a little bit of a rough one, but
It's
totally fine.
Big machine.
It is big. What I'm going to start by doing, similar to what you did for me, is I'm going to go ahead and give you permission to this thing so you can actually use it. So you should now have permission to use the territory scanner.
Alright, so let me try. I'm going to activate it. And here we go. So it shows this window. I can activate the scanning. And it's going to take quite some time, 15 minutes. And the final game, it might actually be even longer. Because it's a very variable thing to do. You will understand at the end of the scanning that the result of the scanning is actually something you can materialize as an item that you will be able to sell. So this is not already implemented, but the idea is that you can make a business out of scanning things on the map and selling, basically scanning mining maps.
Yeah, absolutely. We expect that, while miners may use this for themselves, eventually people can just trade it to their friends or hand them around, and you could be a player that only scans territory for, forever, and does that as your main activity.
By pressing V, by the way, I can materialize the tile where we are currently located. So it's pretty big. Okay, so let's fast forward to when this is actually completed. Okay, so I think now it's completed, and we can see the result of the scan. The result is that there's all those ores here. You can scan and see, just scroll and see all the ores that are here, and it tells you how much there is for any given ore. So for example, if you're looking for I don't know, gold, for example, you will know that there's no point trying to find that
Yeah.
in this territory, right?
But if you wanted something that was here, so like silicon or sodium or carbon, then you'd know that this is the place to be.
The logic is that certain of those ore, you will know that they are very, very deep, like typically 1 or 2 kilometers deep. And so as you can see on the scan that it is there, then you can sort of invest into,
Infrastructure,
digging,
yeah.
the infrastructure
So
and
if you
the
wanted to
effort.
build a base, or if you wanted to bring
Yes.
your friends over, hey, I found a really nice territory tile.
Yeah.
Let's build here. Let's start living in this area.
So knowing this is a very important information, and if you go back to the map, we will at some point make it possible for you to visualize the result of several scans that you could have done or purchased from other players. So you can sort of cover the map with information and organize your strategy for mining accordingly. The very important thing is here, save data. If you click this, then it creates an item that you can see here in your inventory that summarizes everything that has been scanned, the ID of the territory, and everything you need, and set destination. So this is the important part that makes that justifies why scanning is such a long process, why the machine needed to do this is such a big machine, and so it's a valuable activity. Okay, so. Back to this now. Suppose you're happy with the scan and you found some valuable ore that you want to actually secure for yourself. The idea is that this tile we are here in, you can actually claim it and make it your own. To do this, I will need a territory unit. I don't have one, but you and QEntropy have.
Yes. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put down a little container here.
Okay. Well, big one.
Inside, I'm going to drag.
I can't open it. You see.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to give you the rights in a minute. So
Try
inside
to
of this
open it.
container, I put the territory unit, and just like the hovercraft and the territory unit, the territory scanner, I'm going to give JC permission, and now you should be able to open it.
Indeed. Now it works. So I can see in your container there's a territory unit, and I'm going to get just one.
It looks like you might not have enough space. You might need to clear up your inventory a little bit.
All right, you right to it, right. Well, I
You-
don't need that anymore.
No, you
so
can probably
I'm-
get rid of your iron ore too. It's what you just mined. It's taking up quite a bit of space.
Indeed, where is it?
Right under, under. There it is.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, it's taking up a lot of space for you.
So let's see if we
And now you should have plenty.
let's see
Yeah.
if we can do it now.
Perfect.
Yes, good. So it's in my inventory now, and I will be able to deploy it. So just go in the inventory, double click it, and here we go. So this is the territory unit. It's going to be a very expensive item. It's a big investment to actually become the owner of this tile, and to do this you simply deploy it on the ground, and here we go.
Get a nice little animation.
Yeah. So what does it mean that I own this territory? It means that I can actually control by going to this item, and just like with everything else, you can right click and you can just control the permission list here. So you can actually define who has the right to what? Actually to mine, so to dig in the ground, and also to build static constructs. So you sort of control who is going to be your neighbor.
You
Right?
sort of get a little bit of security. If you build a big base, if you decide to develop in this area, putting down a territory unit is definitely going to make your life easier.
Yeah. But just to show you, if I open now the map, you'll see that where we are now, the tile is green. It means it's mine. And everything red here is belonging to somebody else. Okay, so we're good now. Let me just turn off the enhanced HUD. And what are we going to do now? Oh, let's actually try a bit of crafting.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so to start the crafting interface, you just press K, and you get this this interface. So it's a placeholder for the moment, but it does the job. And so we're gonna see if we can craft like an engine. That would be interesting, like an atmospheric engine, the one we actually bought.
Yeah, something very basic that we can just add to our hovercraft and make it a little bit, have more punch.
Yeah, that would be cool. So another simplification in the gameplay is that currently you have access to all the recipes and you can craft anything you want from this interface. In the final game, it will be more limited to basic first entry recipes, and then everything else will actually be made through elements like assembly, compressors, chemical reactors, and so on.
Yeah.
So you end up building factories basically.
Yeah, ultimately, I think the nanoformer crafting is supposed to be more of a bootstrap, and we want it to be there so you don't get stuck, so you can craft basics, you know, like fuels and stuff
Yep.
like that. But for anything big and anything higher level, we want you to be, you know, using factories and that gameplay.
Typically, this kind of engine, you would probably not be able to craft it just like that. We'll see. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah.
so for now, you can do everything from this interface. And right now, you see on red here that I don't have any of those components, so it's impossible to craft it. So the thing I will need is to get those different things. And the good news is that
Luckily,
my friend
yeah.
here, NQ Entropy, has everything.
Let's just
So-
head back to our little container here.
Yes.
And luckily, you already have access to it.
There will be a way also later for people to directly exchange things without the need of a container, but for the moment that's the way we do it. So let me
Right.
open it,
You should have everything you need in there.
and here indeed. So I'm gonna just take everything. Hopefully there's enough space. Otherwise,
Should be totally fine.
I'll be making more space if needed, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have everything we need now. Alright, so let me just go back to the interface. And there's still a
Oh.
functional part missing.
I guess
So
I forgot one.
let's actually look at the recipe if I wanted to craft this guy. So if I could just click on it or control click, that will open another tab, which is convenient because then you can navigate back to the first recipe and sort of explore the tree like that. So you see that we need complex parts and it's sodium pure. And here actually sodium pure is made out of sodium ore, which I happen to have now. And how much do I need?
Not very much.
Not very much. So let's actually build just one.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Should be fine. So I added to the queue. You can see it's there. It's going to take 10 seconds. It's progressing. And I could actually leave the window, do something else, and when it is finished, there will be a message on the screen.
There we go.
And here we go. So I can just get back to the interface, and now I have the sodium pure that I was missing here for the functional part. So I can add this one to the queue. It has consumed actually a certain amount of complex parts here, so that now I actually missed those one from the initial engine recipe. So I will likewise actually go here and build 3 more, add them to the queue, and I think now we're good to also add the engine. You see that the different steps are actually stacking, so you could create a sort of a queue, even though you don't yet have the necessary components. Since they're going to be produced in the previous step, it's all fine. So the engine is now built.
Yeah, so we allow you to put anything you want in the queue, even if you don't have the items yet. But it's up to you to sort of organize yourself and make sure that you're crafting the right items in the right order to be able to get to the item that you want. And,
Yes.
if you make a mistake, the queue will stop, but that's on you.
Let's actually go back to our hovercraft. It's easy to find them. You see on the mini-map on the top right corner, there's these blue icons that represents these constructs, so we can see them over there.
In the distance.
And we're gonna go back there so we can add the engine. And
I guess you're gonna add it to yours. I'm gonna be a little bit slower now.
yeah, well, at least mine is ugly, but it's gonna be fast. Perhaps actually too fast.
Probably.
What I'm going to do is that I'm going to add it in the other direction, so that gives me a possibility to
Reverse.
reverse. Yeah, that would be probably going to be useful if I'm getting stuck or something. So how is the crafting going? Almost there. And
Just a couple seconds left, yeah.
Yeah.
And should be done any moment.
Yeah. So get back there. I'm entering build mode, pressing B, and then
There we go.
here we go.
Well
So,
done.
all right, so now I can go in my inventory, and we have a nice
Yeah, there's your brand new engine.
So, all right, so let's just put it in a way that it's gonna be useful for what I just said.
There we go.
That's pretty much it. Okay, so we're good to go. Let's go a little bit and explore around, see what we could find. Okay, so let me just step inside and let's go. So, by the way, you should get your hovercraft.
Yep, I'm in it.
All right, so I'm gonna start going already. By the way, all the different engines, the different widgets you see on the right are entirely customizable as well. We're not going to go into details about that in this deep dive video, but everything is customizable in Lua, so there's a lot of things you can do to create your own piloting scripts and your widgets. It's very, very deep in terms of gameplay, what you can do.
Hey, do you want to show the reverse feature that you just installed on your...
Oh, yes, you're right. So let me actually break here, and let's try to actually go backwards.
Maybe if you go in third person?
Indeed, that's a
There you
good
go.
idea.
That's,
So it's going pretty fast. So
Don't do
I'm going
this
to
at home.
revert and
Don't
try
do this
to
at
go.
home.
No, for sure. All right, so here we go. Anyway, so let's try to go a little bit further and explore, see what we can find in this huge world. Okay, so we've been flying for quite some time now. You see, it's almost night, and trying to catch up with NQ Entropy.
Yeah, try to keep up.
We've heard of something that might be hidden behind those trees over there, so we're gonna investigate. Just brake a bit so we don't go too
Whoa.
fast.
Look over here on the left.
Oh, a big ship.
That is impressive.
Yes, let me actually get close to it. It's looking nice.
And it looks like there's some sort of tanker next to it over here on the
Alright.
right.
Oh, you're further than me. I have
I'm
to
gonna-
actually go and catch
I'm
up.
gonna park my little hovercraft here.
Alright. So a pretty big, nice ship. I'll actually slow down as well and step out of the hovercraft. Here we go. So, interesting. Pretty big ship we have.
That is quite large.
Yeah, let's go and investigate, see what we have. Okay, so this is typically a very, very large ship that cannot just simply take off from the planet because it's simply too heavy. What you see here is fuel tanks that are used in conjunction with those rocket boosters. So that's basically the only way you can actually lift up such a huge mass from the ground. So what we're going to do is that we're going to try to pilot this huge ship, huge ship, and try to actually go in orbit. I'm going to just inspect here quickly with the refuel tool whether we have enough fuel. In this tank is 100%. This one is empty, so we'll have to refill it. Let me just quickly check this other one here.
I wonder if there's actual extra fuel in this tanker here. Let me check.
Yeah, it's all at 100% on this side. So there's only one that we need to refuel, and
Yeah, it looks like we've got a bunch of fuel in this tanker. So.
all right. So
someone-
this is typically a vehicle that is equipped with those very powerful hovercrafts. So that's typically the kind of, I mean, it's a truck basically.
Yeah, it's a
just-
space truck.
Just a big truck. Well, no space. I mean,
Yeah.
it's supposed to stay on the surface of the
Absolutely.
planet like that. But anyway, so the idea is that it would be extremely tedious that I, fill my inventory with the fuel and transfer, because it's obviously bigger than what I can actually transport. So we've developed a new feature in this version that allows you to link an existing container to your inventory, and if you're not too far away. So that's what I also mentioned for the mining, but you can also use it in this situation when you want to actually transfer a large amount of fuel. Let's actually do this and see how it works.
And the link container is going to be something that you're going to be using relatively often. When you're carrying stuff around, transporting items, buying stuff from the market that you want to put into your base or your truck. It's going to be something that you're in contact fairly often.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try this. All right, so the way to do this is simply by selecting here action for this element. We can actually have a look what is inside, pressing F or here open. You can see that there is a large amount of Xeron fuel, which is what you need for the rocket boosters. So I'm going to simply go into this menu, just ignore the things. This is just debug things. You won't have that in the game. It's just for us for debugging purposes. So what is important is this declare as linked container. I'm going to do this, and now this container, I can use it as an extension of my inventory, and I'm going to go there and try to refuel this huge fuel tank.
Don't forget to select it from the inventory. But
Yeah,
so if you see in the top, you have a second tab now,
you're
which
right.
is your link container.
That's the way to go. So I'm going to select it from there. Okay, we good.
It should be good to
So
go.
now we get to go, and I can actually start to refuel it.
Yeah, Yeah, so this is quite a large amount of fuel.
Yes.
These are the largest rockets we have in the game right now, and they are quite hungry in fuel, but they're also equally powerful.
Yeah, that's the trick. I mean, they have a huge punch, but they're quite expensive. So you typically use them just to take, to take off and go into space, and that's about it. All right, so here we are. Let's actually step inside. Let's also go and visit this ship. Okay, so what we see here is a new element that is called an elevator. So I'm going to use it. Okay, so it just transports you to the next level. If you go in edit mode and you look at the different links, you see that this elevator is linked to the next one and so on. So you can chain them together to create this convenient elevator. So let's actually use this and step up again, and here we are. So this is apparently a cargo bay. So we can just jump here and go and explore. So all those things are containers. You can stuff a lot of things in them. And okay.
I think here we're getting to the engine bay area.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at what we have here.
Okay, this is an anti-gravity engine. So this is a very important and very powerful engine that is capable of creating a cancellation of the gravitational field that will maintain you at a given altitude above 1 kilometer without resorting to the rocket boosters, which would be very much too expensive. So it's a way to sustain a ship at a given altitude for support, for example, or other reasons that you would want such a big ship floating above you. Okay, so this is a new element that is available now in alpha, so you can use it. I mean, this ship is clearly not a ship you can build in a few hours.
I'm wondering if this actually crashed here or something, because this is definitely not supposed to be on the ground.
No, it's not supposed to be. Yes.
Looks like someone's trying to get it back into the air, though.
All right, so
looks like we're in some sort of a launch area right here. We've got a whole bunch of gates and these launch pods over here on the left.
Oh, there's a button. Let me press on the button. What's going to happen?
Oh, looks like you closed the doors.
Shutting down. All right, open it. Oh,
Nice.
That's nice. So to understand, all this is entirely not scripted with the programming language, but scripted with the connections you see here. The simple linker that we have in the game that allows you to connect buttons to doors, to all sorts of
Logic elements.
yeah, logic elements, and you can combine them a bit like Minecraft Redstone, but with a different twist. But the end result is that you can sort of connect everything and do all sorts of contraptions in your construct. Even actually, you could do puzzle games.
Yeah, absolutely.
This would be very fun.
We've actually done that before internally, where we just have these puzzle games based on doors and triggers and buttons.
Yep.
And you can make some pretty complex stuff.
So let me run around here.
This
Let's
is quite a
actually try
large
to
ship.
go. I'm lost. I'm totally lost, to be
Where are you-
honest.
Yeah, this is really cool looking, actually.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
I can imagine you could build your own, private quarters in this. And oh, there's a broken window here.
Ooh, so maybe he didn't finish repairing it.
Yeah.
Whoever owns this ship.
Okay, so let's try to find the control deck.
I have a feeling it's this way.
Okay, I'll follow you, so that we have a chance to try to.
Look at that nice little screen.
Bridge.
All the way up to the bridge.
On my way.
After you.
Oh, good. So here we are. Passenger seats.
All right.
Good. And here it is. So that. Oh, the door is closed.
Closed.
All right. So this is the place where you will typically command a ship like that. So the interesting thing is that all the things you see here, including those screens, are entirely customized. The screen that you see here are basically they are HTML renderers, so they can display a web page if you want, or any content you'd like. So this is entirely customizable, and you could create your own feedback for your ship, whatever you want. And this is also interesting because it's a screen you can interact with, so you can click on it, so you can capture the click and basically make it
Yeah,
like
it
an
looks
interface.
like if you come over here on the left, it looks like we got some sort of map.
It is.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Looks like we have some sort of radar here right
Yeah.
next to it. It's quite nice.
Doesn't seem to be working for me, but I'll try again. Yeah, it's
There we
working.
go. Yeah.
So all the positions of these planets are actually acquired with the script, and so you can do whatever you want with that. Okay, so I think enough talking. Let's actually try to get this baby up in the sky. Okay, so I'm going to sit into the commander seat
Yeah, I'm
here.
gonna take a seat in this little navigator's chair over here on the left.
Right.
You should see me sit down.
So right now the ship is controlled, and I'm going to go into third-person view because it's better to have a look. So
It is big.
So you see the different adjusters are pretty busy maintaining it.
Looks like we forgot to close the back door, but no
Yeah,
big deal.
we're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure
it's
it'll
all
be no
right.
problem.
So, traditionally boosters are bound to the B key, but you can change that in the Lua scripting, do whatever you want. I'm gonna try to press the B key, see what happens. Oh, that's happening.
That
We are
is
taking
a
off.
lot of power.
And that's a lot of acceleration. How is it looking from the inside? We're clearly taking some
You
altitude.
feeling the G's?
We are 2 kilometers above the ground. We're going up, up, up.
You want to take a look outside?
Yeah. Do you want to go?
Yeah, let's go take a look.
I think I'm gonna wait until we are actually
In space?
in space. Yes. So we're gonna have a
Just gonna take a
beautiful
look
view.
around the cockpit
Yeah.
here.
We're using an incredible amount of fuel here. This is
Right now, you're
This is
spending
very
so much
expensive.
money.
yeah, but you know.
That's what it takes to get a ship like this off the ground.
Oh, no more fuel. Let's try to actually activate now the space engines. You
yeah,
see
it
them
looks like they're
underneath.
spooling up.
I'm actually trying to pinpoint them here. Okay, those guys, they are the space engines, and they are starting to enter in action. All right, okay, so let me actually step out of the control seat, and we're gonna go outside for a little tour. You first, and then me. Here we go. So we are
Wow.
in space, and that is the planet. We're still gaining a bit of altitude.
Yeah, we're going crazy if you see in the top there.
It's possible.
50,000 meters we're about to hit.
Yeah, that's a lot of distance, and I'm jumping. Hula.
Careful not to fall off. If you get
Well,
out of the sphere of influence here, you're gone.
That could be interesting, you know.
I mean, if you don't value your life, you can go, but I'm staying right here.
Okay, so you know, just to wrap it up, this is a huge ship. You could be, you know, hundreds of people on board, you know, minding your business and doing all sorts of things while it is actually flying in space.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible, and you know, just like I said, everything you see here is entirely editable, so I can just edit it and take some part of the
Whoa,
ship out.
that's rude.
So that's very rude. I would not do that normally, but I have the rights to edit this thing, so you can see. All right, so the rest of the story, guys, is up to you to write. This is a world for you to take control of, to invent your new life, your story, build amazing things, and impress us with what you're going to show and what you're going to make. And QNG, we thank you very much
Yeah,
for
thank you a lot, JC.
for all the and see you all into the alpha, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.
See you guys later.